News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make that a preset. 800-288-WBAP is our number. That's 800-288-9227. Okay, this one is unbelievable. But then again, I guess not with what we've seen and learned about our federal government and our Justice Department and our FBI. And how their main job is to put Donald Trump in jail at all costs. Their main job is to put Donald Trump supporters in jail. Their main job is to put Catholics under surveillance and in jail if possible, unless they're Democrats and support abortion. Their main goal is to arrest any people that support Donald Trump, incarcerate them. And if they cannot incarcerate them for some reason, to vilify them and to make them an enemy of the people. That's who the FBI is. That's who the Department of Justice is. And it will be under a Republican president or under a Democrat president. Under a Democrat president, it gets orders even more specific on which enemy to focus on, create cases on, and even if they're fake, and then destroy them. And for those who are in power, if they want to destroy them or they see them as a threat, it is to make up something, anything, to surveil them and make up any kind of a case and get them in jail and get them shamed and vilified as soon as possible. And, the one case, this is really interesting, guys. The legal experts, and I'm talking the conservative legal experts and the people on Trump's side, at least on the Republican side, all said the same thing about this case with the documents. That was the one. This is the one that actually is a threat to Trump. Okay? This classified information, because it was when he didn't cooperate and wouldn't give stuff back that kicked it to the next level. It was not this case should never have been, shouldn't have happened. I'm not saying that nobody that I'm quoting here is saying that. What they're saying was he needlessly gave them this opportunity to do this to him by not cooperating with him. Okay? However, and we're not debating that tonight. What we are discussing is this. The federal government, the FBI, remember they put out that picture that showed the photos of all the top classified documents from Trump's house? Remember that from Mar-a-Lago? It turns out that whole photograph was staged. And you're going to say, of course it was. No. Remember when you saw those white and red covers that said top classified, right? TSI, top secret classified, etc. Okay. Indicating it was the highest level of intelligence. Those were not in Trump's papers. They were not even part of his papers. The FBI took the actual supposed classified documents that Trump had, took them out of there, took documents, other documents that were in Trump's files, put them, did one of these, put it together, right, like that, and then put paper clips on them with brand new pieces of paper they brought in that were red and white saying top secret. They came in, they brought in fake evidence to cover and put the paper clips on and stage fake documents on there and made a picture and said, this is what we found. Second of all, after they did that, they jumbled up the order of documents. They said, well, we took the real classified and we moved them and we put these placeholders, these fake, these cover letters, if you will, the red covers, letters that we had on there. We put those in as placeholders for where the real documents were. But now they're out of order. And now it's not making any sense. But even worse yet, the FBI lied and said it wasn't happening, and they've been caught. And they had to admit, yes, these are out of order. Yes, we staged this photo. Yes, those TSI red letters were not even in his files. We put those in there. And yes, the order is different, and we can't fully get it back to the right order. And then another thing happened. And that was that the FBI chose to violate its own policies And instead of having investigated and the documents taken to the Florida office, the South Florida office of the FBI, they shipped it all the way up to D.C., which made no sense whatsoever. It's not the protocol. And in the way of shipping it up to D.C., they had a contractor scan these documents. And that contractor has further messed up with the documents, the orders, or what goes where. They have destroyed their own case. And they have rigged and introduced fake evidence into their own case. And they let the American people see a fake display of fake documents that he didn't have. That's where we're at, guys. Questions for you on this. Do you actually think that our Justice Department has once again rigged a phony case against Trump that will end up helping him win? Like, I'm thinking like the stuff they try to rig with we get involved and we'll tell about Hillary Clinton, and it ended up helping Trump. Now, you know what I mean? It ended up taking her out at the last minute. Remember that? In 2016. Do you think that the Justice Department has once again rigged a phony case against Trump that will end up helping him win? And do you think all these bogus cases and lawfare are what Joe Biden and the deep state have planned against Trump for this fall, or do you think there's actually more that they're going to introduce in the near future? And if so, what? What do you think? 800-288-WBAP is our number. That's 800-288-9227. 800-288-WBAP. Chime in right now. A stunning photograph. This is from declassified.live. Julie Kelly, investigative journalist. The stunning photograph, the image showed colored sheets representing scary classification levels attached to files purportedly discovered in Trump's private office. The crime scene picture went viral immediately, just as Merrick Garland intended, she says. An ex-CIA officer told ABC News that these documents in the wrong hands could have resulted in murder. People's lives are truly at stake. It means life and death. The New York Times insisted this is consistent with how the FBI handles criminal documents and investigations. And no, the files and documents were not tossed around randomly. No, they said. Well, a stunt, she says, with potentially case-killing consequences for the DOJ. Lots of people are saying this today, including experts. Trump and the two defendants, Jack Smith, in this whole case of espionage and obstruction, demonstrate the government used the cover sheets. It demonstrates the government used cover sheets to deceive the public as well as the court. A fraud upon the court and a fraud upon the American people. Jay Bratt, we've heard that name, was the lead DOJ prosecutor. And we see here that agents involved in the raid attached the cover sheets. They brought in the cover sheets. They weren't Trump's. They attached the cover sheets to at least 7 files to stage a fake photograph here, a photograph of something that didn't exist. Classified cover sheets were not recovered in the container. So they brought in these sheets from out of Trump's house, put them in there, put them together with documents, took pictures, and then removed them. They're bringing in fake evidence and removing fake evidence. They've compromised the entire crime scene and the documents. The entire alleged crime scene and alleged documents. Classified cover sheets were not recovered, contrary to Jay Bratt's lie to the court. Quote, if the investigative team found a document with classification markings, it removed the document, segregated it, and replaced it with a placeholder sheet, Jay Bratt said. Agents apparently used these sheets that they brought in as props. They brought in sheets of paper marked top secret classified as props into the crime scene, quote unquote. FBI agents took it upon themselves to paperclip the sheets to documents. They laid them on the floor and they snapped a picture for their political posterity. And so as I read this today when I was doing my soda weight loss workout, one of my sponsors, I wrote the words, they still don't get it. This FBI is still the number one mission of this FBI is still to put Trump in jail at all costs. That is, they don't care about radical Islamists. They don't care about terrorists. They certainly don't investigate, as the FBI director Chris Wray said the other day. They don't investigate. They're not checking out any of these protests on the campuses, talking about killing Jews and Intifada. There's another one today from Michigan Institute of Technology, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, that's terrifying. Hear this.
Intifada, Intifada.
We are the student Intifada.
We are the student Intifada.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine!
Anyways, in a nice Arabic accent with the kafayas, these fools, these Islamists, are doing that. They won't investigate any of these people. Jew haters supporting Hamas. No, there's no investigations of that. The money, how it's being paid for, who's paying for it, and all that. No. It's they do fake things to Trump, and they're destroying their credibility. They've destroyed it. So the point is, they still don't get it. They're still doing everything they can to make up a fake case against Trump in any way. That is the FBI's complete and total mission. That's it. I've got more, but I want to pause for a moment. Coming up next, I'm going to tell you this, two things. Coming up next, we're going to talk about the House Judiciary Committee. Has just opened up a brand new investigation of this. I'll tell you what they're saying coming up next. Plus, more details on how these documents are all fake and rigged that have been mixed in with supposed classified documents to make it look worse. And they've lost them. I'm going to give you all the details that I kind of got into the overview. But there's more details on this. It shows you how this whole case is really compromised. It's done. And this is the one case that actually could have really hurt Trump. The judge also, I don't know if you heard her announcement today on this case. There was a big announcement on it, and it's good news for Trump. I'll tell you what that is as well. Coming up next, plus your call at 800-288-WBAP. That's 800-288-9227. Do you think our Justice Department has once again rigged a phony case against Trump that will end up helping him win with these documents in Florida at Mar-a-Lago? And do you think all these bogus cases and lawfare are what Biden and the deep state have planned against Trump for this fall? Or is there more? And if so, what? 800-288-WBAP is our number. Chris Kroc Show on News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Oh, yeah. Always love this one. They're not allowed to remove this one. This one stays forever, in perpetuity. News Talk 820 WBAP now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset. 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. Do you think that our Justice Department has once again rigged a phony case against Trump that will end up helping him win? And do you think all these bogus cases in lawfare, like the documents case that we now find out is all staged and rigged and fake documents were put in with real documents, do you think all these bogus cases in lawfare are what Biden and the deep state have always planned against him for this fall? Or do you think there's more that we haven't seen yet? It is such insanity and terrible stuff that we're seeing our government do, and all the FBI does now is try to take out Donald Trump and his supporters. It's just disgusting. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. So going back, if you remember that infamous photo of Trump Mar-a-Lago where it had the documents and it had the red and white documents that say top secret TSI classified, those were not in Trump's files. The FBI brought in those fake documents. They brought in these extra documents and put them in there and put them on top of stuff and put them in a nice, neat pile and then paperclip them together and staged these. They used props. These are all props. They staged props for the photo that sent to everybody in the world and went viral to show how bad Orange Man was. The only problem is those are fake documents. They were brought into the scene and used as real documents. Cases, and then also they said, well, Judge, they were placeholders. We took the real classified documents, took them out of Trump's files, and then we put those in as placeholders. But now the orders switched, and the document order is different. We're having trouble about what goes where. Oh, and you want us to take this case seriously. And then also, instead of taking the documents right there to the FBI office right there in South Florida, they took them all the way up to D.C., which is not what they normally do. They used to take it right to the FBI field office there. They didn't. Because they wanted to rig the whole thing. This is all a rigged plan. Oh, by the way, do you recall that Joe Biden, Joe Biden's White House and NARA, the National Archives and Records Administration, they were talking back and forth for 5 months, emailing back and forth, and had NARA draft up their complaint that would be used to prosecute for 5 months before any charges or any investigation was done. You know why? Because Joe Biden rigged it with NARA, and NARA is not supposed to do anything like this. That's not their call. They can't do that, but they did because Joe Biden wanted them to. Hey, tap on the shoulder. Hey, guys, can you make up a fake case with us here? Let's do this. Let's collaborate for 5 months back and forth. They approved their first rough draft, just so you know. They were sending them rough drafts, NARA. That's a non-political part of the government. You see how this is? Everything is designed to destroy Donald Trump. Everything. And now we find out this documents case at Mar-a-Lago, it was the one case they had that could really actually be bad trouble for Trump. No more. By the way, I promised to give you some news that broke today. If you haven't caught it, that trial, the documents case trial, aside from this whole fake documents and documents out of order and stuff now, aside from that, the judge came out today and announced this trial is indefinitely postponed. Why? Do you know why, Producer Garrett? Did you hear about that? This documents case was, as of today, was indefinitely postponed. You know why? It's because since they're prosecuting him up in New York, and it's going on for several more weeks, she just postponed it. She's like, he cannot show up here for 2 to 4 more weeks. This case is postponed indefinitely. It will not even, there will be no verdict on this case unequivocally until after the election. There will be nothing. So that's good news for Trump. That really means that this is possibly going to build up to be the only real case that's going to happen and be adjudicated before, the one in New York. And that really worries me because now the world and the leftist media and the leftist Democrats and everybody are telling these jurors indirectly, you will give us a guilty verdict or you will be destroyed. And I will not be surprised if we find out that some of these jurors have been contacted by mysterious people that are one link away or one person away from the Democrats, telling them you need to do this or else. I mean, there's nothing left on the table to speculate that they wouldn't be willing to do and aren't doing already. The FBI agent who lied to the court and said, "Oh, these are all real documents, everything's there." He told the judge of this case in Mar-a-Lago, Arlene Cannon, during the hearing last year that records were undergoing a classification review. Now some placeholders did not match the actual relevant documents, we find out. The defense counsel has learned the cross-reference provided by special counsel's office does not contain accurate information. They've messed up all the documents now. And they introduced these ones that weren't in there, that I said, these covers that they took pictures of and sent out to the world. The motion that Trump's team put forth now forced the special counsel to admit their error. In other words, their zeal, the FBI, in their zeal, the DOJ and FBI, to stage a phony photo using classified cover sheets that were never there. The FBI agents may have failed to accurately match the placeholder sheet with the appropriate documents. I mean, you can't make this up, can you? There's at least one instance where the location of the cover sheet in the physical box didn't match the FBI's accounting. And it does not appear, the sheet doesn't appear for several hundred pages later in the FBI's index. It calls into question all of the context of all the remaining boxes and the same from what FBI seized on August 8, 22. After the boxes were transported from Florida, it gets even worse, guys, to the hopelessly corrupt FBI Washington field office. The investigation should have been conducted in southern Florida, not in another jurisdiction. A private company, when it got there in D.C., took scans of the inside of the boxes. Are you ready for this? A private company. But according to the defense team, Trump's team, the current condition of the boxes does not match the scans taken in August 22. Do you understand this? Everything is out of order. Everything is messed up, and documents have been put in there that weren't there. The FBI DOJ agent Jay Bratt, who's a big rigger of this whole case, trying to put Trump in jail for no reason, Bratt explained there are some boxes where the order of items that within that box is not the same as in the associated scans. They have destroyed their case. Everything's in question now. Remember OJ's case? Remember what that was all about? The chain of custody and the evidence and everything, the quality of it and messing with it, evidence tampering. This is what this is. On April 12th of this year, Judge Cannon directly asked Jay Bratt, are the boxes in their original intact form as seized? Bratt replied, yes, but with one exception, and that's everything we shared. That is that the classified documents have been removed and placeholders have been put in the document's place. Uh-oh, Rastro, it's all messed up. House Judiciary, as promised, they opened up a case. This acknowledgement represents the grave concerns about the department's commitment to impartial judgment. Jim Jordan asked for a briefing now on what actions are being taken to investigate Smith and his team. They're in some big trouble. That's Jack Smith, the leftist prosecutor that wants to destroy Trump. Up next, another Joe Biden illegal that just came in the country is now charged with kidnapping and raping an 11-year-old girl, and much more. Next. Okay, another one of Joe Biden's illegals Actually, I don't even like saying it that way because this is just too nice. Joe Biden has brought in so many people that are raping us and murdering us, killing us. They're finding our daughters as they jog in the wood and bashing their heads into their skull is deformed. And that's after endangering the life of a child, a 3-year-old up in New York. They are raping a woman in Miami. They are raping a developmentally disabled adult in Massachusetts. They're raping a 14 or 15-year-old girl up in Massachusetts. Some of them are flown directly in from their country. One of them was from Haiti that did the rape in Massachusetts. Joe's bringing them right in surreptitiously into our airports. Several hundred, if not a couple thousand of them, I believe, flown into Dallas too, so they can rape us, kill us, rob us, beat us, steal our money, do the kidnapping, abduction, and murder of one guy in Miami. Here's another one that just came through. This is third world violence that we are not accustomed to. But Joe has introduced this to our country in intimate levels and intimate ways. And, really, unfortunately, to so many of our states and so many of our cities, not just one area here, one area there. Joe's putting rapists and child rapists all over our country. One of them is a man who's admitted to this. He's not even allegedly. He said he did it to the cops after he was in jail. Marvin Perez Lopez, 20-year-old, is sitting in the Palm Beach County Jail, after kidnapping and sexually assaulting a minor under the age of 13. He came into the United States from Joe Biden allowing him to come in from Guatemala only 5 months ago, I guess. And he was released immediately by Joe Biden's people, pending an immigration court date 3 years down the road in 2027. More than enough time to rape our children. Lopez made it to Florida in January of this year. So he came in January, then went to Florida. Seems like immediately he is accused of raping a 11-year-old girl who's in 6th grade. Do you remember what your daughter looked like and acted like when she was 11? Can you imagine her being raped? How about by somebody our president brought in and welcomed and insisted on having? He's accused of raping a girl in a van that was parked outside of her family home. How'd you like to be raped right in front of your own house? To be able to stand there for the rest of your life and look at your house knowing you were raped right there. The girl's mother banged on the side of the van where her daughter was being held, and she was able to escape. The Joe Biden illegal then ran out of the van saying he was sorry for raping the 11-year-old and asked for forgiveness. The 11-year-old girl and this Joe Biden illegal / rapist lived in the same apartment building. It's easy. Joe flies them in, pays for stuff, has them go in, and then they're there and they can see, who do I want to rape today? Which is the most vulnerable person that can rape? The 11-year-old girl told investigators how this Joe Biden illegal grabbed her hand and told her to get into the van. She explained how he started touching her and that she pushed him away and was able to get out of the van, only for him to pull her back inside of the vehicle. Do you know how do you understand how bad it is for a stranger to just grab an 11-year-old girl and you put her yank her into the van and rape her? That's who Joe Biden brought into this country. Joe Biden brought him in just 5 months ago so he could kill and rape and do whatever he wants. And this is what the left and Joe Biden calls a migrant, an illegal immigrant who rapes our 11-year-old daughters. The police went to his apartment to question him, but as they did so, he escaped through a window in the back of the home. See, this is what Joe brings in. He'll rape your daughter, and then he'll run from the cops and disobey them. It was 9 p.m. The mom came into my house saying that something happened to her and her daughter. Marvin said, a relative, I think. I asked Marvin what he would do if she got pregnant. Oh, the terrorist, the Joe Biden illegal. The Joe Biden illegal came into my house saying something happened with her and her daughter. I asked him, what would you do if you got her pregnant? It's like the aunt, I think. What would he do if he got her pregnant? And he would be responsible. He said yes. He would be responsible for the child that of the rape. Cops say he has admitted to the charges against him, so that's why it's not alleged. He's admitted to it. They know they'll get a hearing date for many years from now, and during that time, during that hearing notice, for example, they can get a driver license. Immigration attorney told them. If he seeks asylum, they can also get a work permit. Nobody's looking at the merit to whether they have legitimate, valid asylum claim. Look, Joe Biden wants this. This is what he wants. This is his plan, and it's working. This incident comes only months, the Daily Mail says, after 3 illegals from Guatemala were accused of forcing a woman into their car and sexually battering her at 2 locations in Palm Beach County. So look at all these illegals Joe's brought in. They're grabbing us off the street, our daughters, and beating us, raping us. They are Andres Felipe Morales, Daniel Ordonez Jimenez, and Marco Felipe Ramirez. Morales was this Joe Biden illegal that raped the 11-year-old girl, faces charges of sexual assault, false imprisonment, while the other 2, this case here where they grabbed a woman off the street and raped her. These 3 face charges of sexual assault and false imprisonment, with the other 2 held on 2 counts of felony criminal conspiracy. You know, the left and the Star Telegram mocks the Tarrant County Sheriff Wayburn. They mock him and say, where are the crimes you say the illegals are causing? Well, Star Telegram, I know you listen to WBAP and probably are a big fan of my show. I know that former Mayor of Fort Worth, Betsy, what's her last name? I can't think of it now. But she mentioned me 7 times at a court hearing once, and she came on my show. She's a fan of my show. She told me that. What's Betsy's last name again? I can't remember it now. And such. So I know you guys listen. And these are, here's some of the crime right here that Sheriff Wayburn talks about. Here's 4 illegals that have raped 11-year-olds and women off the street, grabbed them off the street. And that's what you are mocking Sheriff Wayburn for saying is happening. There you go. There's your illegals raping us and killing us and such. Meanwhile, New York City is bracing for a summer surge of illegals to add to 175,000 who are already there. One woman's been staying at a shelter with her children. One of these illegals that Joe brought in has staying with the shelter for children for almost 2 years, and now she said she got 2 weeks and you're out. So this is why, one of the many reasons why Trump has to become the president, because he's got to get all these illegals thrown out of here, all of them. And he will do it. If anybody could do this, it would be him. And we now have, for the first time that I've ever heard of, we have a plurality of people. We have like 52%, I think, or 54%, something of that nature, in a recent poll from one of the mainstream big pollers that said that Americans want the border wall to be done, and they've also said, the majority of them have said, we want these illegals to be deported, mass deportation. So it's time. All right. 800-288-WBAP is the number. That's 800-288-9227. I have not heard this on WBAP. I've not seen it on the news. This came in as a hot tip from a friend, and 2 U.S. senators are introducing a measure that would put, these terrorists on the campus that are shutting Intifada and for Hamas and everything, and shutting down schools and terrorizing Jews on our campuses, including here at UTD and at UT. 2 U.S. senators have introduced a brand new bill that will put all these professors and students on the do not fly list. The do not fly list. Because they are terrorists and support terrorism, obviously. So we're going to get into that coming up next. I'm going to give you all the details. I've got the proposed bill in my hand. I've got the printout of it, the entire bill. So what do you say? Should we take these terrorist supporters at their word and actually put them on the do not fly list because they're terrorists and terrorist supporters? 800-288-WBAP is our number. We'll get to that next. I mean, do you trust them to be next to you on a plane if you have a Star of David on your head or a kippah on your head? or a Jewish star on your necklace or on your bracelet to not attack you, scream at you, terrorize you. We'll get to that coming up next on that. Do you want to fly with these pro-Hamas, pro-terrorist people? Do you trust them? All that's next on the Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, 800-288-9227, 800-288-WBAP. Brand new, hot off the presses, Marsha Blackburn, U.S. Senator, and U.S. Senator Roger Marshall have introduced the No Flights for Terrorist Acts. Students, faculty, professors, paid agitators, all of them who have called for violence against Jewish people, pledged allegiance to terrorist groups, or have been subject to disciplinary action by the school, should all be put on a no-fly list, this new law proposes. They're promoting terrorism, they say, with no fear for the consequences from this administration and the university presence. These radical Marxists who are doing Hamas bidding across the country on college campuses, threatening the safety of our Jewish students and communities, should be treated the same way we treat the terrorist organizations they are pledging to support and immediately be placed on the TSA no-fly list. They're threatening the safety of Jewish students in America. Senator Blackburn said, when protesters chant, "We are Hamas," and carry around "Death to America" posters, we should believe them. Any student, professor, or paid protester in America who promotes terrorism or engages in terroristic acts on behalf of Hamas should immediately be placed on the TSA no-fly list. Okay, remember that professor who said it was exhilarating? He should be on the no-fly list. It will be exhilarating for him to slice the throat of a Jew and watch the blood stream down the side of their neck. That's who this man is. Ban him. I don't want to sit next to him, do you? I'm a goyim. I'm a non-Jew, but I'm going to tell you what. I will gladly wear the Star of David. It's not that I will gladly. I have gladly worn kippahs. The little skull cap. I've worn them at two Jewish weddings for two of my longtime friends since high school. They were the only friends I spent time with when I went home for Christmas with my family several months ago. I'm going to see them again in June. I will wear them to be proud of my Jewish brothers and sisters and to show that I'm with them 120 million%. What would they do to me? No Jew in our country should ever have to hide who they are. Ever. And these terrorists and terrorist supporters should not be allowed on the fly list. The do not fly list for them is what I say. Take them at their word. We need a database, too, for all employers. So do you want to fly with these terrorist supporters and sympathizers and terrorists? Do you want to fly with them? Do you trust them to be next to you on a plane? Or do you agree with this new proposal from these two U.S. senators for a new law that will put you on the do not fly list? I've got more details from the bill itself, which I've read in front of me. But first, let's go to Josh in Dallas, who's called in at 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227, as I'm asking you to call in right now. Chime in. Do you support putting professors and students on the do not fly list if they have celebrated Hamas or called for violence against Jews? Let's go to Josh in Dallas. You're on 820 AM and now on FM at 93.3.
Hey, Chris, Joe works. That was my dad's name. I'll take it.
All right, Joe. All right, Joe. I'm going to call you Joe, Josh. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, so I said this on the radio with you last week. That was literally how I said the response to this. They need to be removed from schools, have financial aid canceled, and they need to be put on do not fly list. So, I mean, I said this, but I need a little credit here. But now I'm going to have to up
You
the
get
ante.
credit, sir, because they were listening to WBAP and you clearly.
That's right.
Yes.
But on top of that, and let's call it for what they are, this is Hitler's youth.
They are.
100%.
That's exactly correct. Look at some of the leaflets they've passed out. Destroy Zionist businesses and Zion interests everywhere. Death to Israel. Real estate. Death to America.
Yeah.
Well,
I think we should put them on the do not fly list right after we drop them off in Palestine and let them go volunteer with Hamas and see how well that works out.
I'd love to do that, but
really
there's no such thing as Palestine or Palestine. There's no such place.
Well, you know what I mean. You're
Gaza.
Right. It's Gaza. Drop them off in Gaza. You're absolutely correct on that.
Or as they pronounce it, as they want to be,
or Palestinian capital, or
as these terrorist supporters call it, Gaza. They don't say Gaza, they say Gaza, as if they're like they live there or something. Gaza. We are protesting for Gaza. Anyway, sorry. All right, so you agree. Do it. All right. I appreciate your call, my friend.
Yep.
Stay safe. Keep your powder dry. 800-288-WBAP. and stay classy. 800-288-9227, 800-288-WBAP. I've got more I want to read from you from the bill and what it says. I'm going to read you more stuff that shows these are terrorists, and they should be put on the terrorist watch list from their own words and their own leaflets that the New York City Police Department has shared with us. And more updates on the latest with these Jew haters and terrorist supporters. Do you want them put on the do not fly list? Should we take them at their word and consider them terrorist and or terrorist supporters or both and keep them on the do not fly list? Because I don't know about you, but I don't want to sit by them. Do you on a plane? What if you offend them? What will they do to you? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3. Also, we have an exclusive that, I don't have the exclusive. It was from a publication. But you remember that custodian that was trapped by these terrorists at Columbia University? Remember that custodian? He spoke out in an interview. You're going to wait. Do not miss this. I got that for you next on the Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3.